What's going on? So I am super inspired to have this conversation, Teddy. The absolute three things you must do to not get left behind this year. I gotta tell you, I've now spoken to probably 2,500 people who claim to be in business, and I am convinced that when I see these stats that less than 15% of all businesses in the country got to six figures. Less than 2.5% of all businesses got to seven figures. I'm like, no, it is not because we don't have dynamic strategy. It is not because we don't have killer insight. It's not because we don't have the right Facebook ad or the right plan or the perfect funnel. No, it is not any of that. It is 100% because we are thinking too damn small. You know, a lot of times I think we're thinking that this concept of thinking small is just about women. No, absolutely not. 85% of the people who I spoke to yesterday were men, which means that not only are women thinking small just right out of the gate, but men are thinking small too. Now, here's what's real. I don't care if you're already doing X dollars or X dollars. What I know for sure is that there's room for you to grow. There's more money to be made. There are sales that you're just leaving to the wayside, and there is money being left on the table, and it's unacceptable. It's like, why do all the hard work? Why do all the hard work knowing very well that, how do I say this? It's almost like, why do all the work and not get the return? I mean, in theory, we're after a certain objective. We're after a certain number. We can't just get to the end of the road and go, well, you know, it just didn't work out. No, it's not because it didn't work out. It's simply because we were thinking too small. We're thinking too small about our own value. We're thinking too small about what we're capable of, and we're aiming too dong on low. So let me just, here's the dun, 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 dun. I'm going to give you the absolute three things, the three magical things that you totally need to dial in this year so that you don't get left behind. It is so easy to get left behind. And I'll tell you, I've spoken to thousands, if not tens of thousands of people over the last couple of years now across the country who own businesses. But in the last 24 hours, I've probably spoken to somewhere between 2,000 to 3,000 alone. And here is my clear kind of in the raw reality is that number one, we don't ask for anything. Like we think we're asking for things. We may ask a simple question, but we really don't ask for anything. There's so much money in this room that I'm in. I'm at Traffic and Conversion. This is day 3 for us. And so I'm sitting inside of this lesson, which is not only do we not ask, but we don't ask the kind of question that we need to get us what we're after. Here's an example. There's probably, I don't know, at least $1 billion, if not $2 or $3 walking inside of the room. I mean, I've had conversations with people who are running $35 million companies, $40 million companies, 25 people teams, ... And the reality is that the only thing standing in between us, our product and service, and what's in their bank account is what we're willing to ask. The only thing standing in the way of us and them becoming a client or them taking us up on or ... is 100% our willingness to ask and say, hey, I have this product and service and I totally think that you should be a part of it. I've watched so many vendors sit behind their tables and be on their computers and wait for traffic and hope and pray that the top 3% of the people who need their products and services are going to come after them. That's like the most ludicrous thing ever. I think to myself, if I had waited for people to come and buy my products and services on my way to 6 and or on my way to 7 figures, I'd still be broke. I mean, I'd be in like Crazyville, USA. And if you don't, let me just take a moment and say, if you don't know who I am, you're like, why is this random black woman with pink lipstick running her mouth with a money sign that says do the damn thing? It's pretty simple. My business journey starts 16 years ago when I got tired of putting my 2 girls, Jade and Maya, they're 18 months apart. I was putting them to bed hungry. Life was really tough. I had zero clue where dad was, and I didn't have a lot of support. I mean, $10.22 an hour, and it sucked. Every bit of it sucked. I was like negative $400 or $500 But before I even started to think about like rent and food and diapers and all of the above. And so I found myself in this crazy cycle of not feeling like I was enough, being angry all the time, being pissed off, feeling like I was trapped because I wanted to take care of these kids. I didn't have an avenue to do it. Everybody was like, go back to school, go to school, Tiffany, get a license, go to night school. I was like, oh yeah, that sounds so great. Yeah, I'm just gonna run to school right now. And what do? I tie one child to my leg and the other to my back. Oh, okay. And how are we supposed to get there? Because I don't have a car. So I want to know, how am I supposed, and more importantly, who's going to pay for this thing? Like, they're all of the wants and desires. Good morning to you. All of the wants and the desires were there, but the reality to make it happen wasn't. Starting a business for me was not just, oh, it would be great to do. Starting a business for me was the 911 of my life. It was the 911. If I do not make this happen, if I do not face my fears, but move, even though I was deadly afraid. Are you kidding me? I'm going to start a business. I don't have a college education. I barely know how to balance a checkbook. It was scary. I was like almost frightened, petrified, but it didn't change the fact that my dreams and my needs and my problems at home were bigger than that fear, and nobody else was going to stop it for me. So starting a business, getting to 6 and then getting to 7 figures, 100%, because I made a decision to start asking. I asked the hell out of everybody. I look at the amount of money in this room and I'm like, oh my goodness. For the people who are in business and they're not asking, they're not taking a moment to say, no, I think you should stop walking because we're valuable enough and I need you to take notice of me. Here's like question number 1. Here is statement number 1. Here is lesson. Here is the number one thing you must do. You must absolutely create your own value and then be willing to share it with everybody and anybody. Period. How many people in the last 24 hours did you say to them, oh my, I am the best person to solve your problem. I am the absolute best person to help you. I am the best person to be your new friend. Forget it. Let's say you're not in business and you're like, damn it, I need X in my life. I need a new partner. I need a new roommate. I need a new accountability, like whatever it is that you're after, like a new friend. Hands down, good morning. Mwah. Jagisha, Casey. So what's real about this is that I am perplexed trying to understand, how does one intend to ask for money, to make money, and they're not willing to ask for it? Like, this concept to me is absolutely ludicrous. And as I watch a room full of people who are sponsoring, and some of them are upset, and some of them are going, oh, well, this event's not that great this year, and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, absolutely not. There is never, ever a non-buying room. That doesn't exist. In business, it does not exist. There is not a non-buying customer. I want you to really, really sit inside of this, like really, really, really own it. There is no such thing. It doesn't exist. There's only a non-selling business owner. There is only a non-selling salesman. There is only a non-selling speaker. There is never a non-buying audience, period. I'll never believe that. I've been doing this too long. I'm in business for 15, 16 years this year. I have sold $1 million contracts, $100,000 contracts. Man, it doesn't change. After generating, probably, 30, 40 million in my own lifetime myself, I'll tell you the truth. The game doesn't change. It doesn't take on a different view. Good morning, Marilyn. Here's what's real for me. You're either going to make the decision that you want it enough that you're going to ask some questions. I am so grateful for my team members that we are here. And it's funny, I watch Ashley, I watch Sherelle, I'm watching myself, and even Money D Bear. And it's interesting to watch when we approach other people. They're like, oh my gosh, you're coming to us? Whoa. And the greatest part about it is that when we get there, they're excited to see us. They want to see us. They're happy to see us. But what's real is that interaction, that prospect, that development would not have happened if we didn't take the first step. Damn it, stop waiting for other people to take the first step for you. If you want it, you gotta go get it. If you want it, you gotta go get it. You can't wait for other people, man. You can't. Damn it, you can't wait for other people. You cannot wait for other people. That's not how this thing works. That is not what separates those who have and those who don't have. That is not what separates the will and the will not. It's are you willing to ask and to go get what you want? You know, I was sharing with everybody here about this quote that my mom had on the fridge. And my mom was not a quoter. She did not run around talking about quotes all the time. She had a quote that stays with me all the time. And I'm so grateful for it in my life right now because I think about it. And she hand wrote it herself. So she was kind of old school, but looking back on it, it's probably one of the key things that impacted me more than anything. It said, life is like a cafeteria. You can totally have anything you want out of it, but you have to get up and get it yourself. So often we're sitting around and we're waiting for other people to deliver things to us. Crazy. You have to. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to your dreams. You owe it to the things you're after to get up and get it yourself. That's number one. Number two, you have to stop thinking small and stop making excuses and stop making excuses repetitively and stop making excuses that are not valid and stop making excuses ... You absolutely must. It's imperative. Number three, you have to trust yourself. You have to trust yourself. You have to trust yourself and you have to plug into other people. So the plugging into other people, it's so important to be connected with people who are, it doesn't matter how. And I don't mean people who are other business owners, because people who are other business owners, they're running a totally different business. There are people out there in the market that, yes, we're both running businesses, but you have a selfish objective. We won't get along. You have your ego in the front of this thing. We won't get along. You don't like to give. You don't like to serve. You're not interested in helping people. And that's my number one MO every day. Which means that if I am fighting for and waiting for that to happen, we're all out of gas. We're literally all out of gas. This relationship won't work. And if you even have a tinge of it, this relationship won't work. This relationship is only going to work if ... We're totally here. And just because we are in the same type of business, just because we're in the same industry, just because we serve the same person does not mean we're here. It starts here. You know, for all of the people who told me that I was crazy to talk about story and that story and owning your story and connection is currency and being after connecting to hearts was crazy, I say, I'm standing on 4 years and probably I don't know how many people, but I know how many people I've spoken to. I know how many people have been through our world. I know how many people we have in our pref roll, if you will. I would say we've probably now spoken to tens of thousands of people. And for a Black woman, it is hard to be in business. For a Black woman, it's tough to attract anything other than other Black women at times. I'm not saying this is the norm, but I've been in business for a long time and it was not easy. You know, the moment I made a decision 4 years ago to start telling my story, sharing it, not apologizing for it, and not being ashamed of it, in any of it, the game changed for me. The amount of white males that come and knock on my door, specifically just to connect here, who ask me questions about their business and nothing else, who are not interested in anything other than the fact that my values and their business values match. And then automatically they're like, I think this person is a solution for me. I think this person is a solution for me. Hands down, I say to myself, man, not only is this real for me, but I realize that it's the game changer. Me focusing on connecting here and taking that connection as currency thing is absolutely everything. And it's the game changer. It's the number one thing that'll totally change the pace. It'll change the game. And more importantly, it'll change everything in your life. Because as long as we continue to hide or share pieces or not plug in or focus in on dialing in with people who match our hearts, match our values, match our integrity system, man, not only will you miss out, but you're going to run the game a little pretty pissed off because you'll never feel fully aligned. You'll always feel like something is missing. You'll always question the people in front of you instead of diving in 100%. And more importantly, that will just set you back. So if you're seeing this live, awesome. I am thrilled that you are here, and know that I adore you. I do. If you're seeing this somewhere, in some other capacity, I have included a handful of links. It is simple. There is no one better in the game to show you how to do the damn thing, whether that is mastering your life. And if you are a woman, I have an amazing place for you called Freedom 52. And you should just be there. Number two, if you're in business today and your numbers aren't where they were, you do not have a solid map for the rest of the year, you have no idea how you're going to attract clients or customers or big ticket or all of the above, we do that all successfully and consistently, and I know that we can help you, period. And somewhere here, there might be a link. Somewhere here, there might be some type of scheduled time. Don't wait. Don't wait. Just do it. Let us help you somewhere. Because if not, trust when I say the market and the year will totally leave you behind. And I don't want that to happen because life is too damn short. So as we get ready to head back and finish day 3 of this event, I say I am honored to be here. I 100% know that whether you're on your way to being consistent at 6 figures or you're wanting to scale way past 7 figures, or maybe you're just like, I need someone in my corner. I know that I'm capable of more, but I think I'm thinking too small and I don't have the right people around me. And I just need to be, just thinking about the opportunity of serving you. I can't wait to see you somewhere soon. I adore you. Bye.